All right. Hello once again, and today we're going to talk about the user interface design basics. Well, for now, user interface it focuses on the particular design aesthetics of the work. Well, this is kind of different from the user experience, well, which is basically caters to the experience that you're trying to create a conveyor's experience that is convenient to the user, how to navigate it better. But user interface focuses on the aesthetics of design, the beauty of it. So for now, we're going to try to get in depth with the basics first. Now, for the first part here, we have to choosing the interface elements. Users have become familiar with the interface elements acting in a certain way. So try to be consistent and predictable in your choice and the certain layout that you're going to do. Doing so will help with task completion, with efficiency, and satisfaction. Now, the interface elements includes, but are not limited to, the input controls such as the buttons, text fields, checkboxes, radio buttons, drop-down lists, list boxes, toggles, date, and fields. So, as for the navigational components, breadcrumbs, sliders, search fields, paginations, sliders, tags, and icons. Although it's a lot more simple these days, but I'm trying to turn this into something of a more on trying to break it down to parts. So, and the next one is the informational components, such as tooltips, icons, progress bars, notifications, message boxes, and modals or modal windows. Now, and the other one is containers such as accordion. Now, there are times that multiple elements might be appropriate for displaying content. When this happens, it's important to consider the trade-off for this. For example, sometimes elements that can help save you space put more of a burden on the user mentally by forcing them to guess what this thing does or within the drop down of what the element might be. So avoid the confusions. So one of the best practices for designing an interface or designing, the design, everything stems from knowing your users. Empathize with them. Can't emphasize that even further. So including understanding their goals, skills, preferences, and tendencies. Once you know about your users, make sure to consider the following when designing your interface. Keep the interface simple. The best interfaces are almost invisible to the user. They avoid unnecessary elements and are clear in the language they use on labels and in messaging. Also, create consistency and use common UI elements. By using common elements in your UI, users feel more comfortable when they're able to get things done more quickly. So in short, make it convenient for them to navigate through your elements. So you can use different kinds of templates for this. You can learn from one of the best user interfaces, such as in Facebook or in social networks. They have good examples of that. So that try to use that as your guide as well. It is also important to create patterns in language, layout, and design. So throughout the site or throughout the app, try to help facilitate efficiency. Once a user learns how to do something, they should be able to transfer that skill to other parts of the site. Okay, now be purposeful in page layout. It must have intention. Consider the spatial relationship between items on the page and the structure of the page based on importance or the emphasis. Careful placements of items can help draw attention to the most important pieces in information and can aid scanning and readability. Also, strategically use color and texture. You can direct attention towards or redirect attention away from the items using color, light, contrast, and texture to your advantage. Next, use typography to create hierarchy and clarity. all sites, all kinds of mediums when it comes to these designs use fonts or typography. So you have to be careful when using it. Consider how you use typefaces, different sizes, fonts, arrangements of the text, and help increase scannability, legibility, and readability. So try to use simple fonts when it comes to reading. So don't use complicated ones. But it depends on the intention of the creation. But I suggest if you're trying to use it for reading, try to use something that is simple. Try to consider the sizes of the medium that you're going to expose it to when it comes to the design as well. And then next, make sure that the system must communicate what's happening. Always inform your users of locations, actions, changes in states, or errors. They must be aware what's happening on their system or their products or their mediums. The use of various UI elements to communicate status and, if necessary, next steps can reduce frustration for your user. The last thing that we want is for the user to abandon the products or the things that we work hard for. So better make it the most convenient as possible for the user. Now, lastly, think about the defaults. By carefully thinking about the anticipation of the goals people bring to your site, you can create defaults that reduce the burden of the user. Now, this becomes particularly important when it comes to form design, where you might have an opportunity to have some field pre-chosen or filled out. Now, this is very important. Always assume to make the defaults easier. Try to make it easier for the user for this. Now, I managed to provide you a lot of about the additional basics of this user interface. I'll see you in the next lecture. And this will provide you with the best practices as well. So, alright, happy designing and good luck.